Who doesn't like vine ripened tomatoes? Just the sound of it sounds delicious. I've heard the term most of my life. I'm sure you've heard it as well. Vine ripened tomatoes. Sounds awesome. But I will tell you here at Whirlwind Family Farm, that is rarely the case because if we let them go to a vine ripened stage, close to like this one is right here, there's going to be a couple of things will happen. Usually insects, worms get to them before we do if they're vine ripened. Birds absolutely love them when they start to turn red and will come in and take advantage of a vine ripened tomato. And the people who created that slogan a long time ago, and again, I will be the first to say it sounds delicious. Seeing that beautiful red tomato as you're seeing right here on the screen, hanging down perfectly red, ready to pick it off the vine, sounds delicious. And by the way, the picture I just showed you was AI generated because I don't have anything that looks like that. Mine are harvested whenever we get to what we call the breaker stage. So this red tomato, which still has a little bit of green on it, went through the breaker stage. And I will tell you, is I'm going to move into the high tunnel where these indeterminate tomatoes, that just means these are tomatoes that go up 8 to 9, 10 feet tall. We also have the smaller bush tomatoes, determinate tomatoes that we grow as well. But if you look at these that are here on the vine, some of these are close to what I call the breaker stage. Now, if you see a little bit of blush on the bottom, by the way, these are cherry tomatoes right next door, and those can get almost to a vine ripened stage, by the way. We'll talk about that later. But a regular, these are big beefs or estivas that we have in here. When they get to the breaker stage, this lower end will start to blush and turn a little pink, a little red. You can pick them right then and there. If you pick a tomato, once it starts to get a little yellow, a little pink, you can pick it off the vine because you're going to have a better chance of survival, less chance of insects getting to it, less chance of birds getting to it when it gets to that breaker stage because everything it needs genetically has already happened. And there is a thing called ethylene gas that plants they put off, that helps in that maturing stage or help them to ripen. And a couple of notes, if you take some of these greener, just breaking tomatoes and put them next to tomatoes that are already have some ripening, there is that ethylene gas and they will ripen sooner. Now I'm going to walk down to where we have some of the tomatoes that are getting close to the breaker stage. They'll start to go from a more of a dark green or bright green to more of a yellowish color, and you know they're getting close to being able to be harvested. Here's one we'll look at right there. Get the camera just right. And you can see it's starting to get a little bit, you can see the darker green up here and a lighter kind of almost a yellow look. We're getting close to that breaker stage, and within a day or so, we'll start to get pink underneath. This actually could be harvested right now. So I tell you all that because even professionally, these big commercial farms where you go and buy your tomatoes, they will pick them in that breaker stage. Sometimes they're very green and they're going to be in the process of being shipped. And in that process, they will be able to make it to the grocery store and start to ripen and start to look like a vine ripened tomato. So I say all that to tell you, I really have never had a vine ripened tomato out here. And like I've said before, when I did have one, it was already pretty much destroyed. It had been cracked, birds had gotten into it, or worms had gotten to it. So we pick them in that breaker stage. Once we do, we take them inside, put them either next to other tomatoes that are in the process of ripening up, so where they're getting that ethylene gas. And my wife and I will also get a banana. Bananas will put that ethylene gas out. That's a little thing you can do, set next to them. And in the case where we have lots of cherry tomatoes, you can see them ripening down here on the bottom of this vine, as I can zoom in there for you. And they can get a little bit closer to ripe. In fact, we like for them to be a little redder before we will harvest them. That's just the difference between the full-size tomato and the cherry tomatoes. We will actually let them get red. You can take some of those As you'll see, as I've showed here on the video, you can put them next to your Big Beefs or Estivas or Better Boys, your bigger tomatoes. And again, that ethylene gas will off-put and allow them to ripen sooner. So there it is. When do you harvest tomatoes? The breaker stage. Again, if you see any blush and even a little bit of that yellowing, you know you can go ahead and harvest. You don't have to worry about it. Set them inside for a week, week and a half, and you're going to start to see that ripening. Because again, once they are harvested at that stage, that breaker stage that we've just talked about, they really have everything they need to be able to go ahead and ripen up. So I hope that helps. It's one of the things that we kind of had to learn the hard way on this farm is we had to learn to harvest tomatoes sooner than later to keep them from being devoured by pests and birds and losing our crop. Thanks so much. It means a lot to our channel when you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. And we always like to have a video right over here you can click on that takes you further along in that gardening process. Blessings over you, your family, your garden. Talk to you soon from Whirlwind Family Farm.